Stay tuned for another episode of Voice of Rio, where we talk about some exciting new opportunities in our nursing program.
Hello and welcome to Voice of Rio Grande. I'm Dr. Donna Mitchell, Dean of the College of Professional and Technical Studies, with my co-host Dr. Heather Duda, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Hello, Heather.
Hi, Donna. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I can't complain. It's a beautiful day on campus, and who can complain when it's so beautiful?
Exactly. The sun's shining. It's not too hot. And we've got a beautiful view of the bell tower behind us.
I see that. I like that view a whole lot. And you know, when you do these kind of shows, sometimes people say, does campus really look like that, or does what's behind you really look like that? And I can say that in all honesty, yes, that is what the bell tower does look like on campus, especially with the trees and their full lovely green beauty. It's always a great picture to have.
And I love to hear it chime the hour too.
I do too, yeah. Yeah, and you know, well, you know, but in case folks out there don't know, that bell tower does include a playable keyboard. So at special occasions like graduation, someone will go in and they will play the alma mater, and it just sounds out across campus. It's wonderful.
It is. It's nice to hear, and it's so pretty. And we have our alums' names on the plaque, people who donated to help us build that. Well, today we're fortunate to have Dr. Bonnie Allen Smith with us. She's the director of the nursing program here, and Bonnie was a guest probably a couple of years ago, but some of our listeners might not have been able to have caught that show. So we'll start out again, Bonnie, by letting you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, good morning. How are you all today?
We're doing great. Thanks for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I am excited to be the nursing program director here at the University of Rio Grande. It's been almost 2 years, and the program continues to grow. We have the associate degree nursing program, the LPN to RN on-campus program, LPN to RN hybrid program, and our RN to BSN program. So lots happening in the School of Nursing.
Absolutely.
Could you give us some information about you and your background, how you ended up at Rio?
Well, I am a registered nurse by trade, and did my initial associate degree work at Hocking College in Nelsonville, and then my baccalaureate was Ohio University, followed by Wright State University for my master's in nursing, and then my PhD is in higher ed administration from Ohio University. And I worked for Hocking Technical College for many years, and the opportunity was presented to me by my dentist to actually consider employment here at the University of Rio Grande, and I was intrigued by the RN to BSN program. So I checked into things a little bit and applied, and was fortunate enough to get an interview, and was hired in July of 2017.
Wow. It just seems like yesterday that you started. It's crazy how time flies.
It has been very rewarding to be here on campus, such a family atmosphere, and I just enjoy the students, and it's very rewarding to watch them grow and become nurses.
Bonnie, did you have an area of specialization in nursing, or an area that you were drawn to more than others?
I loved critical care nursing, and so I became an intensive care nurse several years into my career, but I also knew that I likely would be an educator, and so I joined the float pool so that I would have experience with emergency room nursing and a little bit of OB and peds, and I essentially worked wherever it was busy, and then when the opportunity became available in the intensive care unit, I had the experience of having worked there some and knew the staff there, and so I worked in critical care for many years.
That's awesome. And I know about the float pool because my mom was a nurse, or she's a retired nurse, and for a time she did the float pool. She liked the diversity.
I really enjoyed getting to know people from all the different departments. It was wonderful.
We're here to talk specifically about the nursing program. There are a lot of things we could discuss about the nursing program, but one of the exciting pieces, I think, is the RN to BSN program. It's a hybrid program now. It started face-to-face and moving online into the fall.
We're really excited. Our traditional RN to BSN program is moving to a totally online program this fall. And what's so exciting is that it's a result of data that our graduates and our students gave us. Over the years, they have been reporting that it is more and more difficult for them to arrange time off with their employers in order to be on campus. And so we have moved from a traditional one-day-a-week format to actually having the students do some hybrid classes this past year. And now we're moving totally online because students appreciate the flexibility that an online environment will provide and the ability to continue to have our excellent nursing program, but using a little different delivery method through distance education.
What a great way to open nursing up to a wider range of students. Now, I know clinicals are a really vital part of a nursing program, and those have to be done on the ground. How does that work if a student is not local to the area? Because they, I assume, will have to do a clinical component for the program. How can that happen for them?
Well, we've worked in 2 different types of clinical experiences during the program, which will be a 12-month program, split into the fall and spring semester and then a summer term, which is 10 weeks. And during the very first semester, they will actually, in their first session, take a pathophysiology course, which will then lead to the second session in the first semester, which is going to be a clinical decision-making health assessment course. And so the pathophysiology prepares them well for what they'll be doing in their clinical experience, which will enable them to actually choose the clients that they wish to perform physical examinations. And so they will be doing with friends, neighbors, relatives, coworkers, colleagues, some physical exams, and we'll end that with a comprehensive physical exam that they'll send in by video recording, probably using phone or some other type of video that they may have access to. And then the next clinical experience that they have will be in their summer semester, which is the 10-week summer term. It's a community nursing course, and it's a capstone where it pulls all of the coursework together. So the student will have an opportunity to work with someone in a community setting who has the credentials to actually prepare them for the BSN program requirement of being more of a case manager and being a leader in community health nursing. So we'll make sure the preceptors are chosen in such a way that the student will have benefit of that, and they'll spend a number of hours with that preceptor and work their schedule so that they are able to see the world of nursing. And so they'll have some input, and hopefully that individual will be part of their community. So in their very first course, we'll start talking about the clinical experience so that they can be thinking where they might like to go, and we will have a list of places that we can recommend because we'll need to get contracts and things with those organizations. But we're really excited about the opportunity to offer it across the lifespan as well as around the state.
That is awesome, and I was just going to say, it sounds like anybody can take this program. They don't have to be local to Rio. I mean, I know that's the goal, but they really don't have to have a lot of physical presence or any at all on campus.
They certainly could take advantage of the many things that are available here on our Rio Grande campus, but they would not need to come to campus at all during the program, but we want them to come for pinning and for the graduation ceremony so that we can celebrate their accomplishments with them.
Always a really important day in the life of a new nursing graduate.
Yes.
When we look at the clinical, I know that you're going to be very specific about specific areas where they can practice with their preceptors, that they're abiding by best practices and national patient safety goals and some of the standards that are out there guiding those healthcare facilities.
Absolutely. We pay very close attention to what is essential for that baccalaureate prepared nurse to be able to do. We are using the curriculum that we currently have because we know that it provides the necessary knowledge, and then we're using that to work the student from a novice to expert using Benner's method and trying to help them develop more critical thinking and clinical judgment skills as they progress. So we're really excited to be moving into this new realm.
So if I were a nursing student who wanted to do your program, when would I start the program?
You would start the program in fall of the year, and hopefully you're still accepting registration for this year. But you would start the program in the fall, and first session you are going to be doing an 8-week session with a concepts of professional nursing course where you would learn about nursing theorists and about the role of the registered nurse who is baccalaureate prepared. You would also be taking during that first semester a pathophysiology course that we mentioned a moment ago. And that's the session that also we begin the statistics course, an introduction and probability of statistics. And the students had requested that that course be the entire semester in length. And so that course will run all 16 weeks. But 8 weeks into the course of study, the concepts class will be done, pathophysiology will be done, and the student will then begin a study of clinical decision making, the health assessment. And at that point, they would continue their work with their statistics course. And then we would be in December, believe it or not, ready for the holiday break, and come back in the new year for the second semester of coursework, which would be spring. The students would be working with research, and they would also be studying transcultural nursing. There's a leadership course that semester. They would begin to take more of their general education requirements if they have not already completed them. They would be looking at their history, maybe a fine arts, art appreciation course, something like that during those 2 sessions. And then in the summer, they finish their program. So the first 5 weeks, they do an ethics course. They do world civilization if they've not completed that. The entire semester, they're working through their community capstone course, and there's a nursing informatics course that's offered during the second summer session. And then the students would complete all of their coursework by August, usually the first or second week, depending on the college calendar. And we would have the opportunity for them to have the pinning ceremony and graduation with our LPN to RN hybrid students.
Wow.
So that was already in place, so we're just adding an opportunity for them to graduate at that point. So 12 months, and they're done.
If
Wow.
a student were interested in pursuing this, and maybe they decided that they weren't ready to start till January, or maybe they're in a nursing program that didn't complete it on time, within the time frame that your program is running, could they start general education classes in the winter?
They certainly could. They could begin taking general education courses at any point during their semesters that we're open here for business. And all of our general education classes are available online. And if somebody wished to do a traditional class, they could also do that if that fit their schedule, so that they would have a different environment here if they wanted to do that.
What wonderful options. What are the requirements to get into the program? What do students have to already have before they can be considered for this program?
We expect our graduates to be registered nurses to enter the program. However, we do allow the first 8 weeks of the session for those students who are in the process of moving from their associate degree program to their baccalaureate program to get their state board exam completed and get their RN license, so that they have it by the time that we enter the second 8 weeks. And so we believe that that will give them adequate time to be prepared. Certainly we would like a GPA of at least 2.5, and make sure that their license is current and active, and we're welcoming them aboard for our inaugural class.
How many students do you have so far in the inaugural class?
Right now we have 52 students registered for that, and so we're very excited to be able to be moving forward with that opportunity. There's a lot of interest in the program because many schools have already gone in that direction, and our graduates are excited because their transcripts are already here, their medical files are here, they'll be able to continue on with faculty that they know and have come to appreciate in the classroom. So we're very excited.
That's awesome. So a nice seamless transferability between one program and the next.
Yes.
How exciting. What is the job outlook? So if we've got a lot of students who are interested in this program, how does this make the extra year, how does it make them more marketable, and what is the job outlook in the state of Ohio?
Well, through 2024, the occupation is expected to increase by at least 20 to 24%.
Wow.
And so nursing is an in-demand job, and we expect that to continue as our baby boomers retire. There's going to be more opportunities, and as employers are looking for that baccalaureate prepared nurse, many of the evidence-based articles that you would read and learn about will share that patients have better outcomes when they're cared for by registered nurses who have baccalaureate preparation. So our RN to BSN program prepares the student to assume those roles in hospitals and clinics and so many different healthcare environments.
And some of the hospitals in our region are magnet hospitals. And if a hospital has magnet designation, then they do have to have a certain percentage of baccalaureate prepared nurses. And I've talked to administrators of some of our local hospitals, and more of our hospitals are going that direction. They're encouraging their nurses to go back, get the baccalaureate, or they want them to have it within a set period of time if they're new hires.
Yes, I've heard from several graduates that they have like a 3 to 5 year plan from the moment of hire to actually obtain their BSN degree. And so this fast track is going to enable them to meet their goals and to meet the goals of their employer.
Now, what if a nurse has a BSN and chooses no longer to be a floor nurse or a hospital nurse? With that BSN, what sort of career paths are open to them that might not be open to them otherwise?
Many of the nurses who have their BSN are eligible for charge nurse positions. They may be the nurse manager of the unit. They may manage other types of nursing units. Some of the directors in long-term care facilities will get additional experience and education, and they may head down that path, and certainly prepares them for furthering their education to a master's level or beyond.
Also, school nurses sometimes are required to have the baccalaureate degree, and even though in our area they hire associate degree prepared nurses for community health, it's really recommended that it be a baccalaureate level there. So they may decide to do different areas in their practice. And I've been a nurse for a number of years, and it seems that as we get older, it gets a little more difficult to run those halls and pull on those patients and do all those kinds of things. So the baccalaureate degree will open other avenues and potentials in areas that are outside the hospital area. Even if in industry hires nurses too. So there are so many different opportunities for nurses. I always say if you get bored with what you're doing and you're a nurse, you can find another avenue to pursue.
That's very true.
What if a student comes in and they begin the program and the pace is a little too fast? Is there any other option?
Well, if the pace is too fast, or if life happens along the way and they are unable to take as many courses as they had originally had planned, we can work with them to develop a schedule on a part-time basis. And those part-time students will still be able to meet their degree requirements eventually by taking the courses a little bit out of sequence, but we can certainly work with them to do that. They can take all their general education courses and then do nursing, or they can take a variety of nursing and gen ed, depending on where they are in the program when they make that decision. We have some options available.
Do you also have a part-time option?
Yes, we do. So if a student wanted to start, they could take a combination of some nursing courses and some general education courses and continue to move through the program.
I really appreciate how much you're talking about the general ed courses, because sometimes we think these programs are solely, when we have new programs, that it's the discipline and the discipline only, but this is really a team effort. A program like this requires, of course, so much work from the nursing faculty and you yourself as part of the process, but also requires those foundational courses, as you mentioned, in math and in biology and in history and perhaps even communication in English. And so I really, as somebody who sort of worked with this program from that side of it, I really appreciate how collaborative a program like this is, and how well everybody kind of works together to try to create the best program possible for students.
We've really been blessed here at University of Rio Grande because the faculty are embracing this opportunity, because it does require everyone to change the way we are doing our business, and putting the courses into an 8-week format has been a bit of a challenge, but everyone has worked together to make this happen, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out for these students, and we'll all celebrate together when the first group graduates.
Now, we keep talking about graduation, and I know that one of the most exciting events, perhaps for nurses, is their pinning ceremony. Can you, I always am bothering Donna about, I've been to pinning ceremonies and I always want to know, tell me a little bit more, tell me a little bit more, and I thought maybe folks out there would like to know a little bit more. Can you both talk a little bit about the pinning ceremony and why it holds such a special place in the heart of nurses?
I think that the pinning ceremony, at least for me and for many others, is the ceremony that we remember the most, because it's an opportunity to celebrate the accomplishment with our friends and families after having been in the nursing program. So we would have a pinning ceremony, and the significance behind that dates back to Florence Nightingale during the Crimean War, when the soldiers were injured, and her staff of nurses, or helpers as she would call them, would take care of them. When they did an exceptional job and the patient would do well, the soldier, then she would actually give them a little pin of some sort to commemorate what they've done to make that a meaningful experience, and to work with that particular armed service person. And so that continued on, and eventually nursing programs adapted that, and they made their pins specific to their organization. So each school of nursing has their own nursing pin. That means that the student has met the requirements of taking care of patients throughout the clinical experience, and they've met the educational theoretical components as well. And so they can wear their nursing pin with pride, because it is specific to their school of nursing.
That's a lovely thing.
One piece of information that you may not know is our baccalaureate pin was actually designed by one of our very first baccalaureate students.
Wow.
That first class was given the challenge of designing the pin. And we had a contest, and those who chose to enter presented their design, and then the students voted, and so the nursing pin for the RNBSN was actually designed by a student who graduated with the first graduating class.
That is awesome, really awesome. Now, we, I think, might have a few more minutes, so I think there's something else that's pretty exciting with the nursing program that's still relatively new. Can you talk a little bit about the Sim Center?
Our simulation center is just amazing. We were so fortunate to be able to redesign a space, and then get equipment through a grant from the Appalachian Regional Commission. We're grateful to them. And we have a simulation center that is state-of-the-art, that allows our nursing students and our allied health programs to take advantage of opportunities to practice taking care of patients in a safe setting where no one can be injured, but a lot of learning occurs. We've Laridol products throughout with simulators. We have a simulator that's a sim mom that gives birth to a baby. We have simulator Ann, nursing Anns that allow for vital sign check, and all kinds of health assessment kinds of exams can be done. And we have a sim-in that we can practice critical care and life-saving techniques on as well. We have all new beds and new equipment, and the students are embracing the opportunity to learn more in our center. We finished a good portion of our training. The Laridol company provided expert trainers to come on campus, and so all the faculty members attended the trainings thus far, and we have a couple more trainings to go. And our allied health folks will be involved in more training as well. But we're moving forward. We've had some simulations where nursing students have watched the birthing process. We've had simulations where there was a patient that had a blood transfusion reaction. We've had EKG rhythms for them to identify, and the patient's condition changes as a result of their cardiac rhythm. So we've been able to do some very exciting kinds of things. And it's active learning, and students learn best when they are actively involved in taking care of the patient. It makes it much more meaningful.
We've also had an opportunity for our current RN/BSN students to utilize the facility by listening to heart and lung sounds. And they really enjoyed that because even though they're practicing RN, some of them had never heard those different heart sounds or breath sounds. We're also blessed to have the opportunity to provide ultrasound mannequins. So our ultrasound students can come in and actually do ultrasound on these mannequins. The mannequins are also loaded with x-ray opportunities, so our rad tech students can come in and utilize the center as well. And then the vision is, once everything gets kind of set and things, other programs are looking at how they can utilize the center. Social work is looking at the opportunity to maybe be involved in some simulations, because in nursing and in healthcare, you're utilizing all the different professions when you're providing care for your patient, and that can actually help us provide better care for our patient from the time they hit the door to the time that they're discharged home.
Right. I want to say that I have loved learning about the nursing program today and over the years, and I think Rio has one of just the most innovative, exciting programs around, and maybe I'm biased because I'm here, but I don't care, I'm going to say it anyway. And just the great stuff that is coming out of the ideas and the work that the nursing faculty and you yourself are doing, Bonnie, and of course Dean Mitchell, are all doing, and I just want to say it's really exciting.
Thank you. It's really a great time to be a nurse and to be involved with the nursing profession.
The nursing programs are fully accredited too by ACEN, the Accreditation Commission for Education in Nursing. That's a mouthful. And they have approval from the Board of Nursing. So they are quality programs, as evidenced by the fact that they are accredited programs. And faculty work very hard to maintain that accreditation and the standards.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. I've enjoyed being here.
It's just really wonderful to see the opportunities for these nursing students and allied health students, and the opportunities that will come forward with the simulation center when it's actually in full swing, and there will be a ribbon cutting coming up very soon.
Well, hopefully that ribbon cutting will be a part of a future Voice of Rio episode.
I look forward to it. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Voice of Rio Grande.